What is up, YouTube? My Cowboys family here, bringing you guys the latest update on our very own Dallas Cowboys. And of course, as always, thank you so much for being here tonight. Take a second to hit like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, follow us on all social media at MyCowboysFamily, and of course, hop in the Discord. The link for that's in the description box down below.
Much love to everybody in the house here, hitting that like, subscribing, the notification bell. We starting off with a bang tonight. Some gifts getting given out here in the holiday season. We'll get to that in a minute. Let's start off with those that represent these boards here. My Cowboys family on the nightly, and it changes sometimes on the daily depending on every stream's kind of results. So anyways, as we open up tonight, again, we'll talk about our offense, the Texas Coast offense. McCarthy in the ref check, and of course, versus this Buffalo Bills defense. Are they good? What's the deal? We're going to break it down tonight. Now, let's get back to the family here. Who's repping the boards, baby, this week as our sponsor of the week?
Jason Renfro. Thank you so much, Jason. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
And of course, I believe he's also representing as the membership gifted king.
Yeah, he's the king of the gifting membership board. So much love to Jason Renfro on those two sides. There's two other sides to this board. You can see it with 54 points. Mr. Mark Hosepian, only from Hawaii, repping that star for everything. He's over there hanging on 54 points. And then you got Staley Smith, the king of the Cash App. Much love to him. A great way to drop the love here through the Cash App. That's why it's a special board just for itself. We have leaders this week. There is a new leader in the Cash App, and it is Gloria. She's trying to take that crown from Mr. Smith. And then when it comes to the gifting membership side, baby, we have the guy who just jumped into first place on the overall board and the gifting board. We have Bootzilla there in a tie. He was the gifting leader. Skeptical said, hold up. He had 4. He dropped 5 on it. 5 gifted memberships here on a holiday, Wednesday. And, a holiday Thursday night. I'm sorry. And, again, 5 new people in the family here, now in the membership. When it comes to the Navy Blue crew. So big ups to Skeptical Fan, who is currently the overall leader on this board tonight, currently for this week. And he is the overall leader in the gifting membership side of things. He's up 9-5. 9-5 over Mr. Bootzilla there. So just want to give all the updates. And since we just talked about dropping a pre-stream super chat, it's Mr. Dwayne Broussard, the top dog. Much love to him, who is on that board there, moving up this board here. I'm going to actually have to update that side of things as well. Mr. Dwayne Broussard, much love to him. What did he say, baby, with his $2 holler?
He said, go Cowboys.
Go Cowboys, the top dog in the house. Appreciate you. And as always, go Cowboys. I actually brought Mark to help bring him to 54 points. So you got super chats. You got gifting memberships. We've just seen that. You got people jumping in the membership. You got the thanks button. Like Skeptical did that yesterday, baby. What's 4 of the ways to drop the love here? And it falls on the Cash App crown. the Cash App King side of things.
Of course, you have the Cash App money sign My Cowboys Family. You had the Venmo at My-Cowboys-Family. The regular PayPal link, and last but not least, the Streamlabs link lets your comment show up on screen like a super chat.
Yeah, and you also know that we also have a little lead here when it comes to not a lead, but a membership shout out, which is in the Star and Over Everything side of things. So, baby, who are our very special Star and Over Everything members?
With the nightly shout outs, thank you to Skeptical Fan, Jason Renfro, Lincoln Kane, Mary Alvarez, Andy Potched, Marissa Sparkle, Dwayne Broussard, and The Lunatic. Huge shout out to everybody there. Appreciate you all. Much love.
Yeah, can't do this without you guys' love and support on all the boards, all the sides of things. So truly appreciate you guys. And again, just we shout out the Star level, the Over Everything levels. We got to also shout out the fact that there's a jersey raffle coming this week, and
That's
it is
right.
for that Star level. There's people we just shouted out. One of them will be a lucky winner for the December monthly jersey raffle.
That's right.
Sewn and stitched, you know the deal, guys. You know the jerseys. Much love to Cowboy Mosh bringing it. And we'll have a lucky winner. Could be an old school player. Could be a new player right now. Either way, we got you covered. Style, sizes, Cowboy representation, authentic like jerseys. Can't beat it, guys. We rep them every single time we go live for our games on the stream. So that's a Star level. And let's give the whole shout out right now to the whole chat here who's repping that Star with us tonight, ready to discuss some Cowboy football. Without further ado, baby, let's do it. Who's in the house?
We have Jason Renfro, what's up? Frank Moyer, much love. Skeptical Fan, of course, always staying skeptical. Asmodeus representing. Daniel Barry, what's up? We have Bruce got the toxic juice. Dwayne Broussard, the top dog himself. Juan Carlos with the Go Cowboys. Yeah. The man himself, Cowboys Abroad.
Hey.
Much love to you and the lovely wife, Yumi.
Been a while, the man, Cowboys Abroad, repping it here.
Rolling back, JD from DC, what's up? Spoony Dog, hello and hi. Choctaw Montana 808, repping it. Ooh, I believe that's Jason Renfro's Dollar Holler with a classic Go Cowboys to boot.
It's his. Much love to Mr. Renfro and the Go Cowboys right there.
Thank you once again. Rolling back here, I want to make sure I didn't miss my place. Choctaw Montana 808, Bobby Bottles. We have, of course, the lucky membership winners. Talk to Sully, Fuego, Stephen White, Spot Can You Save Me, Frank Moyer. Thomas Garrett, the superior Garrett. I think Freedom First was first today. Good for him. Rolando Rodriguez all the way from South Texas. So let me go ahead and kind of touch on one or two of the little comments here. Now, Frank Moyer said, he's not a fan of the fact that Micah played sick. He said he made players on my ego sick. The league needs to make a rule if you're sick on game day, you can't play to keep other people from getting sick.
That could be a tough rule to go through with, but I hear what you're saying.
The problem with that too is that it's very unless someone throws up on someone else or something, which I know it's gross and kind of graphic, but there's no way of proving that. You're on an NFL team. Just the team itself is 50-something players, active roster, not counting inactives or practice squad guys who maybe might happen to be there or whatever the heck, not counting coaches and staff and training facility and custodial and administrative. Do you know how many people these people come in contact with every single day? That's why some of the, Rona stuff ended up being kind of a joke, because at the end of the day, you still have to play football and tackle, basically 20-something people at any given point in time. So it's hard to avoid contact basically just on your own team, let alone the other team. So, and it's kind of one of those times where things are going around everywhere.
Yeah. Boards are updated, by the way. Fully updated. I want to make sure we got that on docket there, because I know I was taking a little time there updating the board, but now it's all fully loaded, as we say here in MCM.
Yes. So, of course, after tonight's game, everyone's pretty much saying, do you remember those times where they would say that Kellen Moore was going to do so great over there in Chargers land, right? Bruce got the toxic juice, saying before the season, Kellen Moore was going to thrive, Dak and McCarthy were going to struggle. Pepperidge Farm remembers. Montana Away said, Justin Elite Herbert looking like Karen Moore. I told you he wasn't NFL built.
Hey, people still saying and comparing Dak to Justin Herbert. I think Dak is way above what Justin Herbert has done and can do right now in the NFL. But, I'm going to say something here, just to be fair. They lost Justin Herbert for the year with that broken finger. So Herbert wasn't out there doing anything. It was Eastick, I think his name was. I don't even know. He's just not a very good quarterback, obviously. So look, the point is that just so in case you didn't see it, and nobody really cares about these Thursday night games unless the Cowboys. The Raiders unloaded today. Last week they had 0 points in the entire game in overtime. Yep. This week, the Raiders unloaded for a franchise record, 63 points in this Thursday night football rout. I mean, it was the first quarter. It was like 28, about to be 21-0. It was about to be 28-0. The Chargers, I don't know if they knew there was a game today. Now, they did lose their starting quarterback, of course, and like I said, Kellen Moore can only do so much. He's going to do a lot less with a guy who's even lesser.
Yeah, Easton Stick.
Easton
Stick.
There you go.
Abroad. Have a great night, Skeptical fan.
Yes.
Take it easy. Thank you for sharing the love and showing the love.
Appreciate you, brother. And he is, on top of everything on the board here, but he's also on top of the gifting and giving back. Much love to Mr. Skeptical fan, always staying skeptical, repping that star over everything. So, yeah, I mean, that's the thing, Kellen Moore's going to have issues. We've seen it already this year when it comes to whoever's at quarterback, and I've been saying that for years in Dallas. I think you guys have been hearing me bitch about Kellen Moore from the beginning. I was not happy with him being the OC. I was glad we were scoring points, but he never adjusted. You know my thing here, and he didn't adjust today either. As you can see, with a new quarterback, you'd figure let's try to do something, scale it back. This is what would have happened if we had thrown Cooper Rush in there. And that's what was going to happen in that same scheme, in that system. You get thrashed. McCarthy held it back, did the right things, made it so that you kind of balance things out a different way. In those 5 games without Dak, we won 4 of them because of McCarthy. And that's where you see the difference between last year when we lost Dak and this year when they lose Herbert. Their team is still struggling in a big way on offense because they're still running the same scheme. They're not adjusting. That's the Kellen Moore problem. So I don't even know if they were aware there was a game today when it comes to the Chargers. They lost 63-21 beatdown. Calvin Richard on that board, dropping that 5 on it.
Thank you, Calvin.
On that board, and immediately moving right up. What did the man say?
There is no reason the Cowboys should go less than 14-3. If so, they only have themselves to blame. They are better than each team left on the schedule.
I think they're better than each team on the schedule. The only team that's really better than them right now that they can claim are better is the Niners. So really, when you look at the thing right now, I mean, we are the number 2 team in the most part, most people's minds, in the NFL. So no matter who we play, is going to be that big of a... People are going to say it's not that big of a challenge because we're the better team. I think the teams we have are still in the top of the list. So they're up there with us, even though I do agree. We are better than them. And we should beat them, but it ain't going to be easy. That's a fact. Look, definitely not. If it is, then we got ourselves a great team.
I know, but 2 of the teams are definitely on the better side of things, on the top 10 side of things. One of those teams is somewhere in the middle there. And one of these teams is absolute garbage. So you can't really say that it's all just weak teams or bad matchups and stuff because we are going to be tested here towards the end of the season again. We talked about it, I think, a little bit more earlier in the week or a bit more last week, but the Cowboys have like the second toughest schedule to finish out the season. And for people to say that now that the games have been played, right? It's a little bit different than starting off the season with like the strongest or the weakest schedule, isn't it?
Yeah, agree.
So
now's where it really counts. Yeah, exactly. So the tough games are coming for us. Anyways, much love to Calvin Richard knocking Mark Hovsepian at 48 points and Calvin entering the leaderboard now officially up there. So when you got this game, Brandon Staley, the head coach of the Chargers, he's out the door, guys. He's getting fired. The team hit a new low in front of a national audience as the Raiders just destroyed them. Like I said, 63-21, 63 points, the record high for the Raiders in their franchise, surpassing the previous 59 points set against the Josh McDaniels-led Denver Broncos back in 2010. This loss increased the scrutiny over Brandon Staley's coaching performance. When asked post-game if he expects to be the team's head coach on Friday, he said, "I don't know." So again, the NFL Network's Andrew Siciliano did say, as well as Staley himself, said that he does believe he should remain in charge despite this loss. So look, if he does,
it's one of those things where again, how much can you blame him for not having Justin Herbert?
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm trying to say. Yeah. But it's also the lack of seeing that maybe Kellen Moore is just not adjusting. You got to jump in there as a head coach and help him. And guess who did that last year? Mike McCarthy. Guess he didn't do it this year, Brandon Staley. So yeah, that's how it can drop back onto the head coach in a lot of ways. Listen, this guy was out the door anyways. But now what I'm trying to say is, if he's out the door before the next game, I mean, what do you think is going to be? Who do you think is going to be the assistant, the interim head coach? I think it'll be Kellen Moore. If they're setting it up this way.
He's really going full Garrett, huh?
He's going up the same ranks the way Garrett did. He is full Garrett right now. In fact, right now in his I don't know, were they at home today? They're on the road. In his little car right now, he's driving back or wherever he is in his little area. In the bathroom right now, he's saying, he's doing this. Hell yeah, he's clapping it up. He's clapping it up the way Garrett clapped it up. So anyways, listen, this game was actually pretty monumental in another way. The first time in NFL history, tonight's Charger-Raider game had an all-black team of on-field and replay officials in this game. Tonight also marks the first game with 3 women on the same crew. Again, one was on the field tonight, 2 were in the replay booth.
I'm sorry, this is the type of history they had to make.
Well, again, it's not needed much when it's 63.
That's what I'm trying to say.
It was 63-7 in the fourth quarter. I mean, it ended up 63-21 because they, it was this pre-event for the end of the game. But yeah, this is the historic game that, this historic, I say historic game. It wasn't a historic game. It was a forgettable game, but a historic, I guess you could say.
I guess it's historic for Raider fans, all 10 of them.
Yeah. Now, also, by the way, Amazon Prime, with the way they run their broadcast, they feature it's on Prime Vision. I think it's a bonus thing you either pay for. You can get it through one of the options, but it features all 22 camera angles during the game, and also on-camera analytics expert explaining the analytics of things going on. They also have an AI highlight potential. When it comes to, potential blitzers, they highlight. Potential blitzers using AI before the ball is snapped while you're watching the game. So it's kind of like a broadcast for like analytical nerds. But it also could be the broadcast of the future. A lot of people, like laymen, like, fans just sitting back watching the game, do not like this kind of broadcast. But we'll see what happens. If it's the future or not, either people got to get used to it or, it's going to be something that plays itself out eventually, right? So we'll see how that goes. It's the analytics kind of broadcast through Amazon Prime. They call it Prime Vision. So check it out, I guess, the remaining games they got left. The Lions, one of our opponents coming up. Head coach Dan Campbell said that C.J. Gardner-Johnson, they got him from the Eagles, and he came from the Saints before that. Good slot corner, really, a nickel corner. Had been medically cleared, and his practice window will likely start to open up for next week. According to Dan Campbell, he's healed extremely quickly, and they were going to try to work him back into the mix as soon as possible when he's ready to go, obviously healthy enough to go. And it's going to be, looks like next week, which means he will be there healthy to go against us, I'm sure, for that second and last game, Week 17 game where we have Jimmy Johnson inducted into the Ring of Honor. So we're going to see probably C.J. Gardner-Johnson in that game. That's going to be a highlight of who we have to watch for in that secondary. And also, we hoping the Giants can pull off some. They got to play the Eagles twice. Hopefully they can pull out some upsets there against Philly. And this would definitely help. The Giants' tight end, Darren Waller, has been designated to return and has returned to practice today in full. So he's ready to make his presence felt the last 4 games of the season. Wrong time for the Eagles to want to face the Giants. I'm gonna leave it at that. So come on, Giants. Get a couple wins in there. Play your opponents in the NFC East tougher than you have us, at least. So any quick thoughts or comments in the chat about anything I said NFL news-wise? Because now we're going to our Cowboys. We're going right into the Cowboys.
Smodius said, I think we're going to make like work of our remaining opponents. Jason Renfro throwing out there, Kellen Moore sucks ass. So
Kellen Moron.
Bruce throwing out there, because I joked earlier, I'm like, they scored 2 games worth of points in like 1 game. That's why they scored no points last time. But Bruce said, they were averaging 21 points even with Herbert as far as the Chargers. So, Pizza Boy sucks. Like, even if they did somehow have Herbert, it's not like their offense was exactly all that in a bag of chips.
Exactly.
So,
Agree.
Bruce also asking here, I wonder how Waller will do against Tommy Cutlets.
Again, I think he will be, when it comes to Mr. DeVito, I think he'll be throwing the ball a lot to Darren Waller, and trust me, there'll be an automatic connection because he's got it. DeVito's running for his life over there. So,
right.
Yeah, so we'll see. Hopefully it's going to be enough for them to kind of be a little up and down team that can maybe be up when they play the Eagles. That's what I'm hoping. Now, we had our man here, go right into it. Mike McCarthy spoke today, and he was asked about clinching a playoff berth with a win on Sunday, as I discussed yesterday. All we need to do is win, clinch the playoffs, but it's a bigger picture for me when it comes to that, and it's a bigger picture for McCarthy. He said, I'm focused on 11 wins. You can save that question for next week, but that's the goal. We want to win our division, and all the things we said at the beginning of the season, nothing has yet changed. I'm not up here avoiding the topic, but 11 wins speaks for itself. And he's right.
And again, we've talked about this before more during the offseason about like McCarthy's kind of mentality, the way he breaks down the season into different parts and things like that. And one of the big focuses, and you've heard this pretty much across the board from the entire team, is we haven't lost, mind of the main goal, which is the Super Bowl. But right now, we're keeping it to the week in front of us. Mm-hmm. So, and that's just been a consistent message from everybody within the Stars. So, not surprising to hear it here once again when people are asking about next week.
Yeah, directly to McCarthy, right? The head coach. And, he said, what about playing different teams with different motivations at this point of the season? Because now you're playing, the Eagles, who are trying to maintain their lead against us, which now of course, it's gone away. And you got now a Bills team that is desperate, right? A desperate Bills team that's got to win to stay alive in the playoff race. And McCarthy said, quote, I think everyone clearly understands what December brings in terms of urgency. So, again, we have urgency, too, to win this game here. And he also added, listen, we know what Buffalo's record is at 7-6, and we know they're better than that 7-6 record.
Yeah.
So, anyways. Now, that was his kind of brush up on the Bills and what's coming up. Of course, asked about injuries. Injury news and updates here. And first and foremost, Malik Hooker with the ankle was on the injury report yesterday. He didn't practice. And according to McCarthy, well, today he was going to expect to be limited in practice. We also skipped over Brian Anger yesterday, punter, who was also on the injury list. But he was out, and I forgot to mention, it wasn't even a rest day. It was a personal day for him. He had something going on, but he was back with the team today on the practice field on Thursday. That was according to
if you're keeping
McCarthy.
Up with the Cowboys' track record, he probably just had a kid yesterday.
Probably.
So, and that's just me, obviously, making a joke, but I would not be surprised if that ends up being what actually happened. So, back to you. Sorry.
Yeah, no, punt, again, he missed his day, Brian Anger, but he's back, and he was back at practice today. All good. Now, the guy who's not going to play this week, Jonathan Hankins. I mean, they said it doesn't look good, and he kind of said the same thing today. Jonathan Hankins expected to miss the Sunday game against Buffalo. So, of course, he was asked, who's going to step up here? And we know yesterday it was Mazy Smith and a couple other guys, Carl Davis. But he reiterated about Mazy Smith today, McCarthy. And he also mentioned another name, which I've been mentioning here for a couple of weeks. Helping interior. You remember the name? Neville Gallimore.
Yep. And
McCarthy said, this game against Buffalo, quote, expect Mazy Smith and Neville Gallimore to get quite a bit of a run there when it comes to getting that inside, those snaps from Jonathan Hankins was not going to be there. He also added to expect practice squad 6'5", 335-pound defensive tackle Carl Davis to make his Cowboy debut as well, which means he'll be elevated from the practice squad for one game to the active game for at least this week here. It looks like.
Hopefully it's only for one game, which is definitely what it's trending like. So again, very, I'm just saying the Hankins thing is on the bubble, but I would say depending on how tough the Dolphins look and how banged up he actually is, we'll see.
We'll see how his comeback goes, but we need to stop the run in every game, in my opinion, especially a game where it's going to be a little windy or rainy or something like this, or in the future even snowy, and we're going to have the run games, the run stop is going to be major as far as defense goes.
Exactly. Whether or no weather, this is still a test.
Also, just so you guys know, Carl Davis, if you see him out there, he's going to be number 98.
Yeah.
So
good to know.
Not Quentin Bohanna anymore. Now it's Carl Davis. So if you see 98, it's Carl Davis. Now, specifically, what else would McCarthy say about Mazy Smith's development? He said, quote, I think Mazy is doing a hell of a job. Just remember, the veteran room that he walked into, he's here to do a job that is dirty. This is not a statistic-filled role that is going to bring him a lot of notoriety. He's going to have the ability to do more and will be given the opportunity to do more. So Mazy Smith, front and center now for the Cowboys.
When you pick a D-line or an O-line, it is not a sexy pick. O-line, at least maybe sometimes.
You see it right away.
A more average fan might be able to spot or can tell.
And you can see him right away. You'll see him come up right away. Well, defensive tackles, it takes them a year or two sometimes to get to their kind of seeing potential, right?
Exactly. So overall, just, let's see how he does now that he is going to be the one, obviously, taking a bigger lead. The good thing is, like I've said, we have seen him trending upwards right along with other young guys, right? So even though Schoonmaker and Mazy both started off the season very rough, they have been showing consistent improvement. And the last time we saw both of these guys, they were doing good things for us. So let's just keep it trending in that direction, especially now as they're getting more and more responsibility.
We're going to see them have to step up now. Now, as far as practice was concerned today, interesting, a bunch of people kind of missing again, but it was more interesting to see the way the Cowboys had their, they had these run-through kind of in the drills. There's a running back, so the tight ends running through.
It looked like a car wash thing.
Yeah, you run through those bumpers kind of thing. Well, today, it was an interesting little sight there on the field. Looks like Jake Ferguson and Linda Wells got together and did something there from the tight end side of things. But how was the music playing out there today for the practice? Not a lot of hip-hop artists. Usually they play some hip-hop from the city they're going to go play, but there's not many from Buffalo. The Cowboys playlist today was 2040 by Little Baby and Little Durk. They played Hustle and Motivate by Nipsey, and, of course, Still Dre with Dre and Snoop. Those are the songs they kind of played to get involved and ready for this game against the Buffalo Bills. The Cowboys, again, like I said, had their running like machine they run through. They had taped up pictures of players. If you guys don't know, Jake Ferguson and Linda Wells kind of put this together to kind of put up the pictures.
That does sound like some. Wait, how? Yeah, we can curse now. That sounds like some shit Ferguson would think of.
Yeah, him and Linda Wells put up the defensive players from the Bills, the linebackers, on those hitting blocks there. So Ferguson also not just, he's also doing drills out there. He did this the other day. Remember preparing, I think, for the Eagles game, dipping his hands into ice water.
Yep.
To prepare for this trip to Buffalo.
You'll be interested to hear what CD has to say about that too.
Yeah, he did. Jake Ferguson did that against the Eagles game, and now he's doing it for the Buffalo game. He's mixing mental preparation with physical. Linda Wells today having attached the faces of the Bills defenders to the pads. You're seeing the mix of both. Ferguson kind of putting it all in here, mentally, physically, though trying to withstand and know his opponent. Linda Wells also was kind of doing a little class today and teaching Jake Ferguson some extra skills of how to take care of the football. It wasn't just Ferguson, it was all the tight ends. But he was just basically teaching all the tight ends.
Protection.
Yeah, so that was going on in practice there. Extra ball protection for the tight ends. A lot of work there. But here's the thing. With Sunday forecast in Buffalo, and I'm going to talk about this forecast a little more in the future here tonight, but this forecast is a high of about 49. I know the low, it's going to be probably 52 is the high. I think 49 is maybe the kickoff time, and the low for the night's going to be like 42, but that's like at 2 in the morning and shit. Yeah. So, but there's a 67% chance of rain, and that's changing as well. McCarthy today.
Yeah, I was going to say it's been changing every day, but it's still staying consistently.
Yeah, it's going to
not too cold.
Not cold and a little drizzle, but McCarthy's going to have the quarterbacks today. He had the quarterbacks and the perimeter players on both sides doing wet ball drills. He said, he kind of made the mention, that he worries more about the wind and, of course, the rain. A lot more than the cold weather. He said when he factors in weather conditions, he's always worried. The cold is one thing. It's more about the wind and the rain combination there. With the cold, he feels that's an issue. So wet ball drills today, a good little idea there from McCarthy. We got to get again, we know our run game can get some yards, but we know we focus it. We're balanced and based off the passing game, and that's going to be something that slows down if we have rain, if we have wind. So keep that in mind. Now, as far as the guys on the field, there were a couple of Veteran Day guys. Again, some of the usual situations. Tyron Smith, of course, no practice for him. Zach Martin also had a vet day. And again, Brandon Cook, Stephon Gilmore were not there as well in the field. No sign of Jalen Tolbert, which is interesting, in the open portion of practice in the media. And then Malik Hooker also was out there in practice, but not with the helmet on. And McCarthy, he had not practiced it yet. He not practiced yesterday. Today's the big day of hitting. McCarthy says, he was supposed to be limited in work. It didn't look like he was even limited today when it comes to Malik Hooker. So, looking forward to what happened with the injury report. And we eventually, obviously after practice, after the players spoke to the media, the injury report came out for the Cowboys. And Brandon Cook had a rest day yesterday. Was limited in practice. Today, did not practice because he was sick. He also had the flu, it looks like, again, illness.
Sorry, Pioneer in the chat real quick. He's like, what ball drills? I guess I came in at an odd time.
Yeah, nice timing there. That was the practicing for Buffalo, not anything dirty, so to speak. But now we're talking about injuries. And it looks like the flu is getting passed around. Not a good thing. Micah Parsons, the good news about him, fully recovered from the flu. Today he was, still listed as an illness. Yesterday he was limited. Today full practice.
Thank goodness.
So Micah is full go. He's all good to go there. But you also had, again, you were wondering what happened to Jalen Tolbert. He wasn't on the field today. Brandon Cooks was also missing. Stephon Gilmore was also missing. So just so you guys know, Tolbert was out with an illness today. Did not practice. Yesterday he was fine. Today did not practice. So Tolbert, we'll see. We have to keep on monitoring how he's doing. And even more importantly, guys, Brandon Cooks and Gilmore both had rest days yesterday. They were both, Brandon Cooks was limited. Gilmore did not practice day, but they were both for rest. Today they're both ill as well. So we got 3 guys sick. Jalen Tolbert, Stephon Gilmore, Brandon Cooks. All 3 guys have an illness, and they all did not practice today. That's something to keep an eye on there. This is going through the entire Cowboy team. It looks like it's making their rounds from Micah last week and Dak, right? To Gilmore, Brandon Cooks, Jalen Tolbert. They're the ones battling this situation. Now, other guys who were limited for rest, Zach Martin, Tyron Smith, we know these guys. They're going to be limited, didn't practice at all today. They were both. Tyron Smith did not practice. Zach Martin was limited again today. And then we have the guys that are going to be back on Rico Dowdle with the ankle, which he's going to be managed and he's going to play. But he has the ankle injury. He's limited both days. Today was limited in practice as well. But to me, you have the guys coming back from the injuries, like Vilemi Fehoko, the rookie, and Matt Waletzko. They are both full practice guys today with the pads on as they're in their 21-day window. But they're not active for this game. Keep that in mind. So the only other guys left are the ones, like I said, Rico Dowdle, true injury there, right? We have Jonathan Hankins with the knee and ankle. Another day without practice. He's not going to play this game. And then Malik Hooker with the ankle also was supposed to be limited. Did not practice officially today in practice. And that's, Malik Hooker is another guy to watch with that injury. He has an ankle injury. Outside of those 3 guys who are the only guys that are truly injured, you got 3 guys that are sick. That have an illness, that are the flu. So we got to watch 6 guys coming into this end of this week here. Watch Malik Hooker. Hankins is out. But watch Hooker, watch Dowdle injury-wise, and then watch Brandon Cooks, Gilmore, and also Jalen Tolbert for the flu and how they get over this. Still should have no problem getting over this. That's the hope that they can be okay for this game. We're going to need some of these guys. We can't lose all these guys or we're in trouble. So I'm hoping that all the illness guys are good. I'm hoping that, of course, Rico's going to play. And I'm hoping somehow Malik Hooker get in there and play. Because if not, we got to do a little shifting and moving around in the secondary.
Yeah, that one concerns me quite a bit in combination with the Hankins injury, right? Just because it's like one of these guys, okay, we can handle. But having a weakness both in our front 7 and the secondary, basically, it starts getting tricky.
If he goes out, we've got to rely, and I think we have a lot of confidence in him, but a young guy, Wanye Thomas, number 30, he'd have to step in there for Malik Hooker. Just to look at Israel Mukwamu, I guess he can jump in there too.
He probably will look really good too. I just don't want to be in that position at that, but hey. That's the whole reason we have this depth, and I'm sure that they're going to do great if they have to step up to the mantle.
And we're going to revisit some of the Bills' injuries here, but let me just quickly go through their injury list.
Montana said it. Wanye would be good.
Wanye should be okay enough to get in there, step in, and with the help around him, he should be okay. You got Israel Mukwamu. You got other guys that can still step in. They could have a lighter. We don't have to have 3 safeties every time, right? We could have 2 safeties and 3 corners if we wanted to in the game. So there's a lot of mix and match. Dan Quinn, fully trust him, how he uses the secondary when we're missing a guy or 2. The Bills, how is their injury situation going? Because fuck the Bills, but we got to look and see who's good, who's not good. Maybe you can see a little key in there. And there's a keys floating around in the injury list there. So the Bills' second injury report today, they're big guys that they're in trouble with. AJ Espinenza, he's kind of a backup rotational starter pass rusher out there. He has a rib injury. He has not played yet this week. They're not practiced 2 days in a row. And, of course, they're starting safety, Micah Hyde. Neck stinger. 2 days in a row did not participate in practice. Those are major blows for them right there when it comes to the defense. And again, tomorrow we'll really get a bigger kind of idea of what's going on with their pass rusher. Specifically, though, with their safety, Micah Hyde. Those are the only 2 guys that didn't practice today for them, guys. You look at Dalton Kincaid, who was limited yesterday with the thumb and shoulder injury. And also Taron Johnson, their cornerback, a starter as well with an ankle injury. Both of them were limited yesterday and today, so it's still something to watch, but they're trending to play. So, just kind of keep you guys updated on all these guys. And then you got the full practice guys, Justin Shorter, Dawson Knox, Leonard Floyd, major player there for them. You got, Khair Elam, a cornerback, also with an ankle. Josh Allen, actually, on the list. I forgot to mention him yesterday with a right shoulder injury. Also full practice today and yesterday. So all these guys I just mentioned are all good. The ones to watch, obviously, A.J. Espinoza, edge rusher, and Micah Hyde, their starting safety. And then limited, you got Taron Johnson, their starting corner, and Dalton Kincaid, their starting tight end. Limited, they might not be 100%. Something to watch for going forward. But those are the 4 guys they're worried about. We got 6, they got 4 guys. 3 of ours should be good. 2 of theirs should be good. So about half and half, right? We might miss 2. They might miss, 2 as well. We'll see what happens in this thing when this game goes down. Now, the update on the forecast for this game. I know a lot of different people talking about different weather and stuff like this. But again, we're still, 3 days away? So it still can change. Temperatures are holding. True to the 5-day forecast from a couple days ago when we discussed it. But now there's a spotty pocket of rain, which let me just tell you guys, that shit changes fast. It could be a couple hours earlier. It could be a couple hours later. But they're basically saying right now there should be some light rain around 4 o'clock, which is around kickoff of this game. So there's going to be some light rain, probably around 52 degrees or so, 50 degrees in this game. But possibly also the rain will possibly increase as the night goes on. So that's one thing that's going to be there. The winds are averaging between 10 and 12.
Started from a drizzle, now we're here.
The winds are averaging.
Listening to Drizzy Drake.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. There's going to be some drizzle for Drake. But the winds right now are averaging 10 to 12 miles per hour. But it's not going to be a wintry snowfall. You guys feel me? The low is 42. And that's at like 2, 3 in the morning. So that's not going to happen. There's not going to be any rain going down. There's no snow going down. But there might be a cold, wet rain, drizzle going on in this game. So just something to kind of keep an eye on. Again, there's going to be some showers in the morning. It's going to be on and off throughout the day. Light rain in the afternoon. See, when it really gets going is around maybe 7, 8. You could get more rain when the end of this game comes around. So if you're the Cowboys, you want to make sure you get a chance to put an end to things. Try to put an end to things earlier in this game against the Bills and have to rely on the second half. It might be really rainy and drizzly and cold and ugly. And, then now you're in a struggle here.
It won't be freezing rain, but it's still going to be very chilly because the temperature will be in the mid to low 40s.
Well, in the mid 40s, I would say, to 50 at the kickoff, So, it's going to be the high 40s, I think, this game, with that light drizzle for half the game, possibly. Now, what about everyone's favorite segment of the show here? The ref check.
Ref check, guys. We got to talk about these refs here for this game. Is it good, bad? Is it ugly? Well, I'll give you a clue. It ain't as bad as you think. Even though they're still all blind. Guys, this week we get Craig Rolstad. Okay? Craig Rolstad, he is currently 9-0 doing Cowboy games. Cowboys are 9-0 when he is doing our game. He's officiated 6 at home. We're 6-0 with him. And 3 on the road. We're 3-0 with this Craig Rolstad. Yeah, that 0 better stay at 0.
Well, the offense, again, you can even look at the offense of the Cowboys would be the number 1 beneficiary of this because they throw a lot of those first down conversion penalties. And home teams, remember, Buffalo's the home team. Mm-hmm. Home team wins 40% of the time when this guy is, when Craig Rolstad is doing the game. So that means that if 60% of the time the away team is winning these games. So we're the away team. He favors the Cowboys. But you know what this means? This part of things? Nothing. What was last week? John Hussey. Mm-hmm. Hussey was 7-0 with the Eagles. Now he's 7-1 when he does Eagle games, right? So does it really mean much? We're 9-0 right now. It doesn't mean we're going to be 10-0. When you look at Craig Rolstad, and you see what, again, his name is Craig. Last name is Worolstad. Craig Rolstad. And he averages about 11 penalties per game. The average is 12. The average. And he is right now the 5th lowest flag throwing crew in the NFL. So not a lot of penalties from Craig Rolstad's group here. Now, when you break it down, where does he throw the flags at? Out of those 11, about 3 of them are declined. I'm going to let you know there. And when you look at the total flags per game, that he tries to. I guess you could say 11. Let me make it this way: 11 of these. My fault on this. 11 of them count. He throws about 14 a game, but 11 of these flags actually have counted, and he's averaging about 6 flags for the home team, 5 flags for the away team. So that are counting. So that's why you got 11 total. But when you look at the overall flags that are thrown, he's more like the middle of the pack when it comes to the amount of flags. When you look at the ones that were accepted, he's at the bottom of the list. So they will throw flags, so not average amount of flags. I think the average thrown flags are about 15, 16 flags. He throws about 14, about 11 are accepted. The average is about 12, so he's right there just below the average of flags.
And I think Double R, you'll be very interested to hear what Micah also had to say about some of this refereeing situation.
So, offensive, what's his number one call? Not for Micah, though, but offensive holding is what they throw the most. So, of course, they'll throw offensive holding calls on us left and right. The question is, will they throw it against the Buffalo Bills? For obviously, most of these teams constantly are holding Micah Parsons. So, offensive holding, they throw that about 2 times a game. False start about 2 times a game. That's an offensive false start, obviously. Defensive pass interference about once a game. And then they go with defensive offside, which we got to be careful about once a game. Defensive holding and neutral zone infraction. We got to watch that. So they're watching that line of scrimmage. They're watching holding. They're watching defenses jumping off offsides or neutral zone. They're watching offenses also false starting. That's what they're watching for. It's all about the trenches, baby. And yes, they also call pass interference on defense once a game. What don't they ever call? This crew has never called a chop block, an offensive pass interference call, or an ineligible player down the field. 2 of those 3 are probably just never happened. Offensive pass interference, that's more like, wow, okay, they never called the offensive player. Yeah. So you get a little physical if you're the offensive receiver here. If you're the Cowboys, get physical, baby. Like they said, like Olivia Newton-John said. Was that who said it? Let's get physical. Let's get physical at receiver because they're going to get physical. They're going to shove our guys around, and they don't really throw the flags, these refs, on offensive pass interference. So that's your ref check, a little dosage for the day, if you know what I mean.
Right.
I want to make sure we keep ourselves fed with knowledge.
Double R said, sad as fans, we have to talk about the refs week in and week out. Good grief. Very sad. NFL can't just get right with the refs.
Listen, you know why I read this, though? Double R. This is what McCarthy and somebody in his crew, the analytics crew, coach, they should be studying what the fuck the tendencies are for the refs.
Yeah, how do you avoid obviously a factor in the game at this point?
How do you avoid the crazy penalty? You can't avoid the fact that they don't call penalties on Mike. There's only so much you can do. But how do you avoid your team from getting caught on penalties? You got to shore up the holding. You got to shore up the fucking false starts and the offsides. If we do it, you can't hide behind anyone. We're just showing it, and they're going to throw the flags. That's it. So we got to make sure we do a better job at doing those things and hope that they don't kill us with other dumb flags. That's all. That's what it comes down to, So, when you have our defense against their offense, we talked about this in detail last night. All right. In fact, ref check is over, and let's just go to Micah, what he's going to do out there in this battle, because we got to watch. We talked about the guys we have to watch for. Josh Allen, a key player on their offense, tied for the NFL lead with 14 interceptions, but he's also, I will say this, didn't have, not really involving much of the other guy on the screen here, which is number 14 for them, right? So in this game, a game where wind could be a factor, having an experienced cold weather quarterback like Josh Allen is a positive for them and Josh Allen. Even if he can't draw the fucking Bills mascot, as you see over his head, he's a good cold weather quarterback. He's a proven guy there. And I think is a key element you don't see on the screen because, Stephon Diggs, without question, he's a key element for them. They haven't got the ball to him too much. In a game that could be windy and rainy, it might be even harder. But Stephon Diggs, all right, you're not going to see the Stephon Diggs, Trayvon Diggs brother battle there, but he's going to be a big factor of this game against the Cowboys. 8 times this year, Diggs has been targeted at least 11 times. So Josh Allen's looking a lot for him. 11 times a game. 11 times in 8 games this year, including last game against Kansas City, which they lost, right? But Diggs has only caught 4 passes against the Chiefs for a season low 24 yards. So even though he gets the targets, he didn't have a big game last week when it comes to the results of those targets. Keeping him a little quiet. The one guy I want to watch, though, the key, one of the main keys, is their running back, James Cook. No, it's not Cook from the Jets or the Vikings. This is James Cook from this Bills team, and he's definitely showing out, guys. He was drafted by the Bills, second-year running back, has become one of the Bills' best offensive weapons. Don't sleep on this, because this is the guy that's going to be, and you don't see him on the screen. I need to yell him out again. Number 4, not Dak Prescott. They're number 4. James Cook.
4v4.
No, James? No, I know. Again, it's 4v4, but our defense got to stop this number 4. Let me explain, baby. You don't understand. I don't think you understand how big it's going to be to stop this running back, because he's a receiving running back as well. He's their best offensive weapon, better than Stephon Diggs possibly. And he's
again, that versatility, and again, being versatile at a high level, that's tough.
Yeah, I mean, again, second year for him, running back, but he's atop the NFL leaders among all running backs when it comes to his total yards from scrimmage. He ranks 7th in the league, 7th in the NFL. With total yards from scrimmage, he has 1,180 yards right now from scrimmage, 796 on the ground running, which is, I mean, that's almost, he's going to be 1,000-yard back, this James Cook. So you got to stay on top of this guy. He's also produced, I think in the last 4 weeks, the last 4 games, Cooks has gotten 100 yards from scrimmage or more. So the last 4 games, he's hit 100 yards of total offense, catching or running. James Cook is a major weapon for this team. You guys know Josh Allen, and you guys know Stephon Diggs. You blindly just know that, but you got to know James Cook, number 4, will make an issue for this team if we can't slow him down.
Don't let Cook cook.
Yeah. We know about our cooks. Well, this is a cook, and we got to go tackle him with our entire group of defensive players. You got to watch number 4, James Cook. I guess I reiterate. I don't think I reiterated that enough last night. Listen, they have other guys like Dalton Kincaid at tight end. We talked about him too. He's injured, but he looks like he's trending to play. Dawson Knox behind him at tight end. I talked about running back Latavius Murray, which is not really, he's a shell of what he used to be. Of course, the receivers we discussed in detail. I'm not going to go through them again, but Stephon Diggs, Gabe Davis, number 13, and Khalil Shakir, who is the slot receiver for them, will present some issues. I discussed how their 2-3 is better than our 2-3 this year. And again, their offensive line, I told you guys, they are a phenomenal pass blocking group, but they're not very good at blocking for the run. So they have, left tackle Deion Dawkins, left guard, who, by the way, is the least pressure allowed by anybody in their line. It's their left guard, Connor McGovern. Yeah, remember old Connor? Mm-hmm. Mitch Morse, their center there, formerly of KC. He's solid. Of course, a rookie we wanted, but he's starting with them. At right guard, Osiris Torrance, who's actually allowing the most pressures, but still not that bad for a rookie. And then Spencer Brown, a solid right tackle over there. So it's going to be interesting how the Cowboys are going to try to attack, because the inside of this offensive line is weak when it comes to allowing pressure, allowing run effects. So I think we got to attack from the inside, maybe some Micah inside.
Okay.
What is Micah saying about this, baby? I know he spoke today.
Yes, he did. You know what he had to say?
I'm waiting. I can't wait.
Well, first, so we're actually going to roll it back a little bit and start with the officials. Is that all right with you?
Yeah. Let me put up the video that shows him, the officials not calling flags that are obvious against the opponent when they're trying to hold Micah Parsons.
Yeah, Micah says that, when he will tell an official, like, hey, you missed a call there or whatever, they tell him that he was away from the play or that he couldn't make the play. Right? Micah said, quote,
he's in this play.
How are you telling me what I can make? Are you in my body? You got my abilities? No. You don't make that play. I'm a little different. I think I can make every play if I'm near the ball.
I mean, he's near the ball here. He's not getting a call for, obvious hold. So I'm just saying, to me, Micah is sometimes not able to be near the ball. Why? Because there's a fucking flag.
Exactly.
He's being held. He's getting hit to the face.
If there's a distance meter you have to reach, Micah will probably never get there if it's up to the 4 guys
does
holding
Micah get to this stop if you don't get held? Of course. I think he made the stop. He got the sack against Jalen Hurts, being held and being double teamed. Here he gets slapped in the face, no call. I mean, he has to be near the play to get a slap in the face call? Come on. Here he's at the quarterback, no hold. I'm just saying, this is the kind of shit we see not just against the Commanders on Thanksgiving. We've seen this all fucking year when it comes to Micah Parsons.
Now Micah did say that he's actually kind of a big fan of Josh Allen and that he's jealous that Allen has been on the cover of Madden. Adding in their quote, I know we're the Dallas Cowboys, so I know what type of Josh we're going to get. I don't think it's going to be the one that makes some costly decisions. I think it's going to be the one trying to beat us pretty bad. I'm excited for the matchup.
Oh.
He kind of added a little bit more to that, though, saying, You know, Josh really reminds me of that one crazy guy at the frat. You know, the ones that makes his friend get all the way drunk and you just go, "Aw, man, I ain't going out with this guy." He just does anything. He's that wild dude on the field, man. He wants to dip his shoulders. He wants to talk trash. He wants to get rowdy. He shoots the beer pong. He aces the cup. I would love to have a bar and grill out with Josh for sure.
Yeah, he's making friends here on the opposing team.
The Micah Parsons grill.
Well, he's saying about shooting the buffalo.
So, the last final thing that Micah really kind of touched on here is actually about his teammate, Stephon Gilmore. I guess, old man Gilly. He keeps a pretty strict, clean diet, really takes care of himself. Mike added in there, it's nuts. I don't know if I'm ready for his type of commitment, but I think from the changes I've made, it has been better. There was a time during training camp, and there's not a lot of food options in Oxnard. I came into the lunchroom one day, saw Brandon Cooks and Gilly eating fried noodles. It wasn't like stir fry, it was just cooked noodles. Because they didn't want to eat the cheese or cream or anything. They just ate warmed up noodles, straight noodles, not even butter noodles. I saw crispy brown noodles and I'm like, you guys are nuts. And then I think I went and ordered Popeyes.
Yeah, so now he's changed it though. Now he's come a little bit more healthier, I guess.
Yes, that's what he's trying to say.
Yeah.
He's definitely been inspired by Gilmore with that. Even during this training camp, he's like, that's too much for even me. So, anyway, that's it as far as Micah Parsons. Before we move on to the next part of things, and I'm guessing mainly our offense, right?
Yeah, our offense, Texas Coast versus their defense. That's the wrap-up here, guys. We're almost at the end.
That's right. Take a second to hit like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Follow us anywhere and everywhere at MyCowboysFamily. Hop in the Discord, link for that's in the description box down below. And once again, an extra special thank you to everybody who's been here. Dropped the love, chilling, hanging in the chat. Shouting out the sponsor of the week, of course, Jason Renfro.
Ooh.
He's not just the sponsor of the week, though. He's the membership gifting king.
You know it.
Dominating
that there.
And speaking of domination, big mahalo to Marco Seppian. He's dominating that stream boss right now with 48 points.
4-8
on the board.
And don't forget Stanley Smith, the king of the Cash App. Much love to him. He's repping it 2 out of 4 weeks. He's got half the month, a month worth of time there. Much love to Stanley Smith, repping it as the king of the Cash App. But who's the leader of the Cash App this week? It's Gloria
Woo.
with that Tolbert on that Cash App board. Much love to her in first place on the Cash App board. And Skeptical Fan, he's first place on the overall board and the membership gifting board. He's up by 4. He's up by 2 safeties over Bootzilla, who's in second place up on that side of things. Much love to everybody, and go Cowboys. Now, baby, any quick little thoughts or any from the chat? I don't know if the chat had any quick little last second thoughts before I flip this over to our offense versus their defense.
Asmodeus said, to hell with making friends with Josh Allen. We can indulge in ass slapping after we kick their ass.
Take it personal, Micah. I like what Asmodeus is saying. He's right. Take it personal. Then shake hands after.
Pioneer said, this is an opportunity for Mazy to shut me and his critics up for a little while.
Opportunity will be there for Mazy Smith. Now, as we flip this over, Dak Prescott leading this offense. Well, what's some of the defensive guys we got to kind of watch out for? And first and foremost, you see the man in the middle right there, Dak Prescott. Mm-hmm. Listen to this, baby. Today, Dak Prescott is one of 8 finalists for the Art Rooney Sportsmanship Award, given to a player who best embodies traits like integrity and respect for the game and their opponents. And current players, they self-decide who's the winner on this. Last year, Dak won the Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year. Of course, this year, Dak Prescott is in a group with only 7 other people. It's Buda Baker from the Cardinals, Max Crosby from the Raiders, Kyle Juszczyk from the Niners, Khalil Mack from the Chargers, C.J. Mosley from the Jets, Bobby Wagner from the Seahawks, and Kevin Zeitler from the Baltimore Ravens. And, of course, Dak Prescott from the Dallas Cowboys. Pretty sure it's 4 NFC guys and 4 AFC guys. But I want to say one last thing. People talking about the money and Dak Prescott and, is he going to get paid? So Ari Marioff from the 33rd team, he decided to say today, he made a comment, kind of made perked some eyes and ears up, but he said that Dak Prescott could become the first ever $60 million per year quarterback. So, again, a lot of people say, yeah, that's probably going to happen. Possibly can be true. If we had signed him this last offseason, it probably would have been 55, maybe even less. Now you're looking at 60 per year, possibly. Now, the important factor is, how is this defense going to slow down the Cowboy offense?
Yeah.
All right? The offense has been rolling, the Cowboys. The Cowboys have been, we're averaging 40.2 points per game over our last 5 games. 40 points on offense the last 5 weeks. I don't care who we're playing. That's domination. The last 2 weeks, they were supposedly playoff teams, like the Eagles and the Seahawks. This year, the Cowboys are averaging, in total, 32.38 points per game. That's number 1 in the NFL.
That's insanity.
We're averaging 381.5 total yards per game. That is 4th best in the NFL. Offensively, we're dominating it. 262.8 passing yards per game. That's 2nd best in the NFL. We have a 53% score rate, which is number 1. And we have only 11 turnovers. Tied, knocking on wood. That is tied for the least amount in the NFL. So this is an efficient offense. Doesn't make mistakes. We have the passing yards that back it up, the total yards that back it up, and we put up points on the board. All this backs up the offense we have. So the Buffalo defense is going to have to be ready to try to shut down the Cowboy passing attack. As Dak Prescott right now leads the NFL with 28 passing touchdowns, one of Dak's favorite weapons last year, but especially this year, wide receiver CeeDee Lamb, who has 96 catches, 1,253 yards. By the way, those 96 receptions for CeeDee Lamb, that puts him 3rd in the NFL at receiver. And with the yardage, he's also 3rd in receiving yards right now. He has 8 touchdowns, which is tied for 4th for CeeDee Lamb. So now it comes down to, can we get it rolling on the ground with Tony Pollard in a game where it's going to be wet, possibly, windy? So now we got to establish that run. Well, on the ground with Pollard, we got 196 attempts on the ground, and he has 796 rushing yards, similar to Cook on their side. That's 8th best in the NFL for Tony Pollard there at running back. So even if we're not running great, we're still running top 10-wise when it comes to a running back and their numbers. The Bills' defensive line had a huge final series against the Chiefs on Sunday last week, and they were able to close out the game to get the win. But the battle up front against the Cowboys this week is going to be just as tough and as important as it was against Kansas City for the Buffalo Bills. Dak has been sacked 29 times. That's in the bottom half of the league, guys. That's the 18th most, which is not he's below the halfway point. So again, not getting sacked more than the average. All right, in the NFL for Dak Prescott. The Bills have been great at getting after the quarterback, getting some sacks this year. They have 42 sacks, which is tied for 3rd. Of course, we're just a little above them, I think. And they're going to try to keep sacking quarterbacks this week with Dak Prescott. Cowboys have done a great job of not turning the ball over, of taking care of the football. We've only turned the ball over 11 times on offense, which ties for the lowest in the NFL. Buffalo's going to have to work hard at creating takeaways. The thing is, Buffalo's have created takeaways at a high rate this year. They have 23 takeaways so far this year, which ties for 3rd most in the NFL. And they also forced multiple turnovers in 3 straight games. So their defense is heating up, getting turnovers, stopping good offenses, and we're next on the docket for them. But I know, Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, Tony Pollard, they said what they need to do in this game here coming up against the Bills. They had their thoughts about what needs to be done. So, baby, what was said by Dak Prescott leading the way here?
Well, first of all, he said that he doesn't see this upcoming matchup as like him versus Josh Allen type of thing, right? It's not like a one-on-one matchup. It's a team thing, right? Quote, "My job's to go out there and play against that defense. Understanding that I've got to take advantage of my opportunities, I can't stall out knowing that they do have a playmaker, a great quarterback on the other side of the field. But this is the furthest thing from me versus him in that sense, especially with the way our defense is playing, and really the way that their defense is playing. One of the best in getting the ball. They're a veteran defense. Obviously, they've got some guys down, but they've played together a lot. Older back half, guys that can disguise really well. So I've got a challenge in that alone that, just got to take advantage of opportunities, score some points, knowing that with Josh on the other side, they can score as well."
Again, we're saying Josh, talking about Josh Allen, of course.
Yes.
They can put up the points, but he can't control what happens there. He's got to go up against his defense, Poyer, and others that we're going to discuss here, of guys we had to watch for. So Dak is not wrong there. Dak it's not about Josh Allen versus Dak in my mind either. But people are going to make it about that. What else did Dak have to say today?
These are his thoughts as far as him obviously being the MVP frontrunner, right? He said, well, that's this team. We're doing the right thing. We're winning games first and foremost. What I play for is at the end of the year, we're one of the last teams and being the last team standing. Obviously, if my name is in those talks, then we're putting ourselves in the right spot. For me, it's about continuing doing whatever I can to put this team in the best position. And by the way, as Dak is giving this interview, saying this stuff, CeeDee Lamb walks by and starts yelling, "Woo, Dak!" So it's actually really cute. Dak after that says, "Get that guy a ball and just win games, and the rest will take care of itself."
Gotta get CeeDee the ball. That is key.
So, sorry, I thought you were gonna add a little more.
Oh, by the way, I see somebody making a great point here. Let me see, who was this about? Von Miller. Oh, GM. By the way, I forgot to mention, Von Miller was on the injury report, by the way, but he was yesterday. I think he was limited or not practicing today. He was full practice, but he has that domestic violence thing hanging over his head, and I don't see him playing this week. That's why you're not seeing him. You're not seeing Von Miller on this screen. We'll talk about that in a minute more. But we'll hear what Dak has to finish saying yet, about this upcoming game, the way he's looking right now, and more.
He had it in there, quote, "Right now it's all about taking the momentum we've created from these last few games that we've been at home and understanding that we've created a standard and expectation for ourselves on offense, defense, special teams, really as a whole in playing complementary football. We have to feed off of success and be there for when maybe one side isn't doing what they expect to do."
Yeah, picking up the slack for the defense if they're failing. The defense picking up the slack for the offense if the offense is out of it or out of sorts. That's what Dak is saying. Dak is 100% right.
Yeah, he said, "I want to take this momentum, make sure our communication is at an all-time high on offense. Going into a hectic environment and great atmosphere with great fans, I hear."
Yeah, so Bills Mafia. Antoine is in the Bills Mafia here. He jumps in here sometimes. They have a great fan base. They're loud. They're going to make it harder on top of the cold, the windy, rain, all that shit. So Dak knows communication is a must here. And efficiency is also a must.
And he said, "I'm looking forward to a challenge right now. It's not about home or away. These are playoff-type games. And it's important for us to use this momentum and confidence we built to take another step on the road."
100%. 100% agree.
I couldn't agree more with that statement.
Yeah, it's got to do it, right? There's not a game with grass, so we're not going to be slower. It could be rainy, but that means they're going to be slower too, right? Mm-hmm. So that's what Dak said. I know other people spoke today.
Yes, of course. Like
Dak leading the way there, but CeeDee Lamb, right? He showed out.
So Darius Lamb. So CeeDee Lamb had this to say as far as the Cowboys passing game, if he feels like are we playing at our maximum potential? Right? CeeDee said, "Yeah, but I feel like we can still get better."
And that is true. You've been hearing me bitch about the fact that we can be better on offense and defense, but
I say that every time. But when you're on the field, when you're out there, and you understand you get a couple of completions, you could have had those. So in those situations to where not having my bads, mishaps, that's when I feel like we're gonna do our best. But right now, we're definitely rolling.
That's good.
So basically, yeah, because we had one or two of those during the Eagles game, and I get what he's trying to say. No types of miscommunications where you're going to Dak and CeeDee's going "Oh shit, my bad, that was on me," or vice versa, where Dak turns to CeeDee and says, "Oh, my bad, that was on me."
We don't want those. We want good communication against a good team. You got to make sure you do better on that. Consistently. You start having some bad communication mix-ups, cost you the game. Dak fumbling the ball. Is an issue where Dak has to not do that in a game against the Bills in the rain.
Exactly.
Cold.
Pretty much in any other game. That could have been the game ender, the difference maker.
My point is that we can rebound from the fact that if we screw up at home like that, we can, in our home territory with the roof closed. But if we do that on the road in this game, it's going to be harder to kind of make up the ground, especially if it's rainy, windy, and the offense got to throw the ball a little more, right? So we've got to make sure we handle our business there.
So, outside of that, CeeDee Lamb also said this. Remember how A.J. Brown called Gilmore old, right?
Yeah.
CeeDee Lamb said, "Yeah, he is." Then he laughed, of course, and he's joking. He said, "He ain't old. He's just very experienced. He's definitely a guy I've said plenty of times. He can still move. the age is just the age. You can't really go back on that.
I mean, we've talked about what CD said in practice, and this is in Oxnard, about Gilmore helping him in his routes and kind of telling him what to do and where to plant the foot and how to. I mean, he taught him a lot, just being a veteran, but on the other side against them, teaching him some tricks that you can do as a receiver to kind of get your cornerback coverage, the cornerback guy off of you a little easier. So Gilmore has helped his team from the beginning to the end, and guys on defense and offense are learning from this. CeeDee Lamb being, to me, one of those guys, and saying it right. He's old, but he's teaching everybody. And he's old, but not like in that way. He's old, but he's still healthy and good shape. So CeeDee Lamb dropping the knowledge there.
But, by the way, remember how I mentioned earlier, remember Ferguson was sticking his hands in some ice water trying to get himself ready to go? So CD said he's not wearing gloves or sleeves if it rains or gets chilly in Buffalo, saying, quote, keeping my hands dry. Obviously, the ball will be wet. Most important, to take care of the ball. I take every game personal, home or away.
Well, I like that word personal, taking it personal. But, yeah, that's also going to help catching the ball and securing the ball, like putting it away, no fumbling when you're in that wet weather and that rainy weather and that ball that's like waterlogged or, everything is wet. He's going to stay, sleeveless and in Seattle. He's going to stay sleeveless in Buffalo, and he's going to try to make sure he keeps his gloves, his hands dry.
So, again, like I said, like to hear from CD there. And the last thing I'll say, quote, I feel like we're going to bring our own music. We're going to be in a hostile environment. So we're not going to get as much praise for making big plays. So we got to make that the new norm. We've got to stick to our script, continue to play, make routine plays, and score touchdowns.
CD speaking the truth. That's all. But saying it is different than doing it. And, I know we had one more player speak here, kind of giving a little quip. Mr. Tony Pollard, who might be relied upon in a big way.
That's right.
Against this Bills team in the run, saying the running side of things, but in the rain. Him and Rico Dowdle. What did Tony Pollard have to say, baby?
Pollard actually kind of echoed some of CeeDee Lamb's thoughts there, saying, we just got to keep doing what we've been doing in home games. Lock in. We need to keep taking the preparation seriously and going out there and executing. That's pretty much it. So, again, like I said, very much echoing what CeeDee Lamb just said there.
And so, as we heard from our guys, what are these Bills we're facing? What's the deal here? Well, the defense. We touched on a little bit, and they got to stop our run. They got some good qualities there, but the Buffalo Bills, let's break down some of the defense they got, right? Their defensive line has plenty of talent. Ed Oliver leads this team in total pressures. In the second half of the season, he's really turned it on. He has 50 total pressures. This guy is an interior, one-tech defensive tackle. They got Jordan Phillips and Ed Oliver. These are two stalwart interior defensive linemen. Like I said, Ed Oliver, 50 total pressures, is the fourth most among all defensive tackles. He has 8 sacks from the inside, guys. This is a 3-tech, 1-tech. 8 sacks. That's the third most by any defensive tackle in the NFL. Then you look at defensive end. You got Leonard Floyd and Greg Rousseau. But the guy, listen, Von Miller's up there too, but he probably won't play this game as he's behind Rousseau right now. But Leonard Floyd, number 56, you see him right there in the bottom left of your screen? That's the guy to watch in this game. He's their sack leader right now. He leads them with 9.5 sacks. All right, he's gonna hit that. He's gonna get double digits. So this guy here, number 56 in the bottom left of your screen, is a guy to be aware of. Leonard Floyd. He's right there. Now, the guy who's injured, who's right behind him in sacks, who has 7.5 sacks, is A.J. Epinenza. And A.J. Epinenza right now has a rib injury. He's not practiced in either day. So he's on the verge of not playing. He's enjoying a career season, but he is on the injury report, and he's suffering from a rib injury he sustained against the Chiefs. So it's not like he's recouping. He just started recuperation. I think it's going to be tough for him to get to play in this game. That's one of their better pass rushers, especially without Von Miller. So A.J. Epinenza is not play either. Leonard Floyd and Rousseau are the two guys that got to lead the way for them on that side. But they're weaker there. Rousseau is weaker when you look at the other guys that are sitting there, like Von Miller, who probably won't play, and Epinenza, who's probably injured in this game. The defensive line has plenty of players that do generate sacks, though, like Greg Rousseau, Daquan Jones, Jordan Phillips from the inside there as an interior tackle. All this, again, all of these, this is all led to the Bills generating, as a team, they have the third most sacks, 42 sacks as a team. That is the third most in the NFL this year. So a defensive line is a solid defensive line. They get pressure, they get sacks. But what is their weakness? Their weakness is stopping the run. That's why I keep
I was
bringing.
gonna say that is music to my ears.
But that's one thing we have not really shown consistency in, is running the ball in a consistent way. So the weakness of this defense is running the ball. Now, if it rains and nobody can throw, we should be able to try to run the ball against these teams, and we should be successful. So right now, their defense ranks 19th in rushing yards allowed. So they allow a lot of rushing yards. And how much is a running back? How much you average against them when you run? 4.7 yards per attempt.
I mean, that's obviously very successful.
I mean, for the offense, not for them. They are very bad at stopping the run.
Yeah.
I mean, you're almost averaging 5 yards a carry on the ground. So right now, guys, that is the third worst in the NFL. They're the third worst per yards, per carry, allowing, per average, per run. They're the third worst in the league. And when it comes to totally rushing yards allowed, they're 19th in the NFL. So they're not good against the run. Another point is that in the last 3 games, they have been struggling to stop teams. Really struggling to stop teams scoring in the red zone. The last 3 weeks, they've not been able to stop people from scoring in the red zone against them, allowing opponents to score 88% of the time when they enter the red zone. So again, they cannot stop. Once you get in the red zone, we should be putting that in the end zone. The Cowboys, listen to this, baby. When it comes to running the ball, the Cowboys offense is averaging 4.1 yards per carry, 8th most in the NFL. The Bills defense has allowed, like I said, 4.7 yards per carry. That is 3rd worst in the NFL. So you're taking the Cowboys, 8th most when we run the ball. We're averaging 4.1 yards when we run the ball.
Okay.
When their defense is allowing 4.7 yards. So we are the 8th.
So we'll start averaging 5 by the end of this game.
Well, we're the 8th most right now at running the ball per carry, and they're the 3rd worst. They're the 3rd worst per carry. Now, again, the major player for them is going to be Ed Oliver inside when it comes to the running side of things. He's a highly touted player out of the University of Houston back in 2020, and he's been a major force for them in the middle. And I talked about his 8 sacks he has from the inside, but he's also a very good run stopper. He ranks 4th in the NFL in sacks among defensive tackles. I think I'd say 6.5 sacks is what he had. So he's 4th in the NFL with tackles. So Ed Oliver, a major guy to kind of look at in this game. Ed Oliver, he's number 91. He's going to play in the interior of the defensive line of the Buffalo Bills. So again, don't forget about guys like Tim Settle and Linville Joseph. He was formerly of the Eagles. So in recent times, he's also with the Vikings. So they got a lot of guys rotationally to really keep that defensive line strong. They're going to keep some pressure on, although they could have more if they had guys like Miller and Espinoza. But they're going to attack the run, but that's their weakest spot, is stopping the run. So, yes, we can probably pass against them, but we know that they do have a weakness in stopping the run. And a lot of that, you have to look at the linebackers. When you look at one of their linebackers here, you got to look at number 43. He's one of the guys that they had his face taped to the machine today. Terrell Bernard. I don't know if you guys know who Terrell Bernard is, but he came into the NFL looking like your typical nickel linebacker, like a Marquise Bell. I mean, he's not a big guy. Number 43. You have your screen right there. I mean, that's Poyer. Poyer is a safety back there, and he looks bigger than number 43, Terrell Bernard. So Bernard, guys, here's the deal with him. It's important to note about him. He's a very slender, not looking like an every down kind of linebacker. You figure you could run against him. That's partially why you're seeing teams able to run against this Bills defense. This year, he's racked up 5 sacks. He's very effective coming in on the blitz. His bend and ability to take the corner quickly was something he did well when he was playing at Baylor in college. So it's no surprise that he can still produce sacks in the pros. He has a skill set that's really a pass rusher and adds more pass rush, a heavier pass rush skill set for the Bills' kind of pass rush theme on defense, right? So he's a pass rushing linebacker. But his lack of pursuit, that's one of the things. His lack of pursuit skills. He doesn't have the angles. He overplays stuff, and he gets himself out of position. Stopping the run is a bigger issue for him, guys. Again, his coverage recognition. That's one of the major struggles. You talk about someone like Darius Leonard, that we said his run stopping ability was really good, but his coverage ability was where he lacked. This situation here is a very similar situation when it comes to coverage. As a linebacker, he is a very bad coverage linebacker, Terrell Bernard, number 43. So this adds to their struggles on defense, guys. The coverage recognition puts them out of position in pass or run when it comes to Terrell Bernard. When it comes to the pursuit skills of going and hustling down a play, Terrell Bernard does not do that. He's a pass rusher, almost overrunning stuff sometimes. Overrunning the run, overrunning the pass rush side of things. So you kind of almost get a little feel like a little Micah Parsons-ish with his build, let's say, and he's kind of more slender, but he's more of a pass rusher than an every down run stopper. So when it comes to this, they struggle a lot when it comes to 43. The only one player that is good at stopping the run is the Bills' other linebacker, Tyler Dodson. And it's gonna be weird because he's wearing number 25. Yeah. So he looks like a defensive back. But Tyler Dodson, guys, he's the only guy that's able to kind of clog and cover from that linebacker position. He's a better overall guy. Terrell Bernard is a more flashy, kind of gonna put up the sacks, the splash plays. But the other guy kind of does his job there. Tyler Dodson quietly cover the holes, the assignments, the gap assignments, and tackle, and also get in with the run game and help, of course, run support, or they're fucked. But here's the biggest issue. Number 43, all right? That's the Terrell Bernard. And number 25, another Tyrell Dodson. Both these guys combined have missed a total of 24 tackles this year. That's like number one. So I'm just trying to say, like, as a linebacking crew, they miss tackles in the ground game. They're out of position. One of them can cover okay. The other one doesn't cover at all. So even though they got some talent at linebacker and adding to the pass rush, they have some real weakness when it comes to coverage in passing game, and real weaknesses with the linebackers helping the run support. You look at, for example, Damone Clark and Marquise Bell. They have an insanely low missed tackle rate, and both, when they're attacked in the air, have lower passer ratings allowed than both of these Bills linebackers. I mean, our coverage guys, our run stop ability with Marquise Bell and Damone Clark are much better than these two guys. Our coverage ability with Marquise Bell and Damone Clark are much better than both the Tyrells over here, or Tylers. So, guys, right now the Cowboy linebackers are better run stoppers. They're better in coverage. And again, the Bills, I will say this. The Bills are better at getting sacks at linebacker. That's it. That's because of Terrell Bernard. Outside of getting sacks from the linebackers, the Cowboys, for instance, our linebackers are better than them in every single category. Coverage, run stopping, everything but getting sacks, which we got other guys that make sacks.
Yeah.
So, again, linebacker-wise, they got coverage issues. They got issues with stopping the run. That's how you attack this freaking team. Now, of course, we can still attack the secondary. And without their starting safety, Micah Hyde, they're going to go to Taylor Rapp or even maybe Damar Hamlin to go in there as a backup. But Micah Hyde is questionable. After getting a stinger in last week's game from the safety position there, this loss could be significant for their secondary. Again, Taylor Rapp, started over with the Rams, kind of petered out a little bit, but he has struggled at safety since he's been in Buffalo. So that's why Rapp's kind of lost his position there. You got Rasul Douglas. He's their best cornerback. We know him from the Eagles, but he's now at the Bills. He's their best cornerback. He's allowing a passer rating, all right, of an 87.4, which is, pretty good, but it ain't like unstoppable. So again, I think we can still pick on even their best coverage guys out there. He's managed to have 3 interceptions, though, Rasul Douglas. So he's dangerous on that side of things. You look at Rasul Douglas, cornerback on the right side, formerly of Green Bay, formerly of the Eagles. Rasul Douglas, number 31. Keep an eye on him out there. I think that's going to be one of the he's got 3 interceptions, and he broke up 8 passes this year. So he will probably be on CeeDee Lamb. Keep an eye on him, guys. They'll probably keep, Rasul Douglas on CeeDee Lamb. That's going to be a matchup we're going to probably talk about later in the week. And then, how about the Cowboys offense when it comes to who we're going to use to attack the other guy, Dane Jackson. Dane Jackson right now, he's their left cornerback, and he's showing up like, he's going to be back at full blast, coming back from a neck injury at cornerback. So he should be starting. if for some reason he's not there, they're in trouble because then they got to stick with Christian Benford. Christian Benford, he right now allows over 70% completion against them. And both players, even Dean Jackson, who's a starter, both players are allowing over 100 when it comes to the quarterback passer rating. So this secondary, although when they're all together, they can be pretty good. They got a lot of holes in them there. Jordan Poyer, to me, at safety, one of their better remaining defensive backs in this mix, especially he's going to have to help a lot when it comes to Taylor Rapp if he has to come in there for Micah Hyde, which it looks like that's going to have to happen. You know, they got Taron Johnson, a nickel cornerback, number 7. Another guy that has weakness there as well. The Bills secondary is about to face a Cowboys team that is first in passing touchdowns. We're 4th in completion percentage, and we're 2nd in passer rating when it comes to attacking them. You know, and our quarterback having really high passer ratings no matter who the fuck we attack. So that's their bigger fear is not that they can't handle coverage or they're not a good defensive back end team. They are. They have a couple guys banged up, like CeeDee Lamb said. But the bigger deal is they haven't really faced an offense that's going to be able to do what we're going to be able to do to them. That's a scary thing for their defense. And that's one of the big issues when it's, coming their way on Sunday, in my opinion, when it comes to this game. I will touch on one last thing, and that's special teams. So let me put up our old guy here, special teams coach, Bones, John Fossil. Because we know we got of course Brandon Aubrey, who's MVP, Rookie of the Year. I don't know, he's everything when it comes to the special teams and kicking. What about their kicker? Their kicker's name is Tyler Bass, and Tyler Bass right now he is 20. He made 20 out of 25 field goals so far, but he has missed a field goal from 30 yards as well. So doesn't have a good percentage of making field goals, and he's also missed easy field goals. Like I just said, a 30-yard field goal. Now, of course, Brian Anger kicking ass at punts right now, out punting their punter, Sam Martin, by a lot. Anger is averaging 50.9 yards per punt. Sam Martin averaging 44.7. I mean, that's almost 7 yards every punt that we're averaging better with Anger than their punter. And then, of course, Conte Turpin hopefully will break one this week. But they have a guy named Deontay Henry. And he's not really doing that well on punts or kickoff returns for him, guys. He totaled 166 return yards and averages about 9.2 yards per return. Both of these numbers rank 19th among all punt return and kickoff return specialists. And he's also fumbled one punt this year as well. So, they do not have solid special teams. We definitely are much more solid than they are when it comes to special teams, kicking, punting, coverage. So, that's it for me. I don't know if you have anything more, baby, but I think the family's treated to a quickie tonight on MCF.
Yep. So Ooga Booga Man said we better not lose to the 7-6 Bills.
Records always, records are tricky like that sometimes.
Yeah. Double R, take it easy, have a great one. William Bernie said it. We're 3-3 on the road so far this season. So,
that's not good.
Like we said, we want to be on the more positive side of that statistic by the end of this game, right? So, James Brady saying, this game is going to tell us how tough we are on the road. I don't care if Dak plays one of the best games of his life. If we lose, that's all that matters. I can definitely tell you that's all that's going to matter, right? Like, so what if he has an MVP Super Bowl type of performance?
I mean, let's be fair, though. A lot of people bitch at Dak as he's always the issue. So we know he's not the issue anymore. So the haters can get off of that.
I know.
I don't care about Dak's numbers as long as we win. But Dak's numbers, if he has good numbers, means we have a better chance to win the game. Let's not be foolish here, right?
Oh, of course. So, let me see. Wolf King, what's up? Let me see. James Brady also throwing out there, only game we didn't win when we were favored was the Cardinals.
I mean, we weren't favored. Not favored. Now, hold on. That's not true now. I'm sorry. We were favored. Yes, it is. We were not. We were underdogs against the Niners. We were underdogs against the against the Eagles. And now we're underdogs again against the Buffalo Bills. But we're winning this game. We got to win this game.
Yeah, yep. Let me see. Let me see. Somebody said Tyler Badish had better shut. Let me see. Yeah, shut Tiffany Cuff links or they'll definitely fuck them up. Oh, sorry. Tyler Biadasz had better shit Tiffany Cuff links or they'll definitely fuck them up.
That makes more sense.
There we go. So that one took me a second there. I think Aguilera for also throwing out there, you can't have Jordan Lewis trying to cover Kincaid.
Well, no, I think that's a J-Ron Curse job right there. J-Ron Curse will be on Dalton Kincaid, as he always is on the tight end, locking them down. Pretty much has like an 85% lockdown ratio against all tight ends, even the greatest ones in the league in the last 3 years with the Cowboys. For J-Ron Curse. So Curse will be locking down Kincaid. Jordan Lewis will be, out there with the slot with the Shakir. What's his name? Shakir, I think is his name, from the Bills. There, their nickel cornerback will be the guy that I think is Khalil Shakir that is their other receiver. Let me see here. Yeah, number 10, Khalil Shakir. That will be Jordan Lewis's guy.
So, let me see here. Pioneer said we dropped our jock straps on the field last week on that fake punt.
Yep, I called it. I called that one.
But like I said, that's only ever going to happen basically once to us. Like once you do that once to us, so. we're going to be watching for that.
I hope so. Cowboys should have. That's Bones' fault. That's on Bones, in my opinion. We should have been ready for that.
I agree. So, and hey, you don't got to get ready if you stay ready. But with that said, I think we are ready to wrap things up here. So first, I have to do the shout out to give the love, the appreciation of those helping make MCF happen here on the Daily and the Nightly. Thank you very much, Jason Renfro, the sponsor of the week, and of course, the membership gifting king. Appreciate you. Rolling up to Mr. Marco Seppi and a mahalo to the stream boss. Well, I almost called him the sponsor of the week for a second there, but yes, mahalo to the stream boss there, repping it with the 48 points still on the board. Of course, you can't just shout him out, right? We got Stanley Smith as the Cash App King. Much love and respect to Stanley Smith. And if I'm not mistaken, Mr. Skeptical Fan is currently leading the entire overall board for this week, trying to take over.
He's in first place on the overall board, trying to take that sponsor of the week from Jason Renfro. But Skeptical, he's also the gifting leader. He's trying to take over. He's taking over Jason's spots, it looks like there. He's trying to take over both of Jason's spots there. And when it comes to the Cash App leader this week, you got Gloria representing it. Much love to Gloria, who is our leader in the Cash App side of things for now. Also,
thank you.
Big shout outs to those that dropped the love from above tonight. It's a couple people. Dwayne Broussard, Skeptical Fan, Jason Renfro, and Calvin Richards. Extra special love to Skeptical Fan, who dropped 5 gifted memberships.
That's right.
So congrats to those 5, and much love to the man, Skeptical Fan, making it rock and roll here tonight on MCF. So now those are those last shout outs, baby. It's time to call it a night. It's an hour and a half, quick and sweet and done. And tomorrow we're back with some must-win keys to victory, as well as matchups.
So, Brandon James, thank you, Lost in Translation. I'm feeling slightly better. Hopefully you guys can tell by the sound of my voice. Not sure. But Asmodeus in the house, of course. Jason Renfro, much love to you. James Brady representing Pioneer, take it easy. Ooga Booga Man, have a great night. Double R, peace and love to you. William Burney, much love. Kind of rolling back a little bit. Wolf King, have a great night. Asmodeus in the house. Hey, we like to reset the odds, right? We got this. GM, take it easy. Grimbot, much love. Let me see. No, just trying to make sure I don't miss anybody here. Victor Hill, take it easy. Have a good one. Brandon James, much love. Chalk to Montana 808. It's as far back as it lets me go here, at least on my side.
Well, so, on that note, everybody, thank you for chiming in with us here, dropping your knowledge and your love. And, baby, why do we do this every single night here in My Cowboys Family?
It's that navy blue, that silver too, and that star over everything.
That's right. Win, lose, or draw, good, bad, or ugly. We are here repping that star for everything here on MCF, here on My Cowboys Family, YouTube for 6 years plus. Never forget the number one thing here, now, and forever. As always, go Cowboys. Let's get that 6. We got 5. Let's get that 6 and beyond. Thank you all for dropping your knowledge in the chat all night long. And also appreciate the drops of love from above, the giving the love here during the giving time of the season. Thank you all for the love and the support on that side. It is time to clock out and drop out officially for the night. Relock, reload for another Fan Friday tomorrow as we talk about some of the keys and matchups we got to watch for in this game against the Bills. Saturday, we'll get a little pregame, a little finale, kind of bold predictions and score predictions, and then lights, camera, action. Game day. In the afternoon, Bills, Cowboys. Cannot wait. Baby. appreciate you here, dropping the knowledge with all of us and kind of hanging with the chat. But I do want to ask you, if we can officially drop out for the night, what do we got to do?
We got to drop the beat.
Oh, yeah. The beat.
Maybe wait a little longer for that one.
You got to hold it out a little. Like, we got to hold out. Got to get this 11th win. Thank you all again here for dropping in, hitting that like, subscribing, and that bell, and the whole thing. Hey, leave your comments down below if you're watching the replay. And again, thank you for joining us as we wrap up here another Cowboys chat with you all in our Cowboy-Buffalo matchups. Cannot wait for this game. We did the rev check this time around. We got our offense, our defense. We talked about it all. We'll talk about some more tomorrow as we're closing in on this big, big game in December. Guys, thank you for joining us here on MCF. It's always about that navy blue, that silver too, that star for everything. Yes. Here at My Cowboys Family, never ever forget the number one thing on this channel. Much love to everyone. We'll be back tomorrow with another one on a Fan Friday, guys. Stay safe. Much love. Again, hit that like, hit subscribe, hit that notification bell. Follow us on X and all social media at My Cowboys Family, and jump in the Discord. Stay safe, family. Much love to all. We'll see you tomorrow. Peace. And never, ever forget, go Cowboys!
Monk on the beat. Monk on the beat. Monk on the beat.